together again. It's so nice to see you here on a rather dull day. There is not much sunshine around, unfortunately. It has been raining all morning, but the sun is shining right here in my studio. We are back together again. English Addict is with you once more. Yes, we are back together again, and it's very nice to see you here. Did you see that then that came up on the screen? You weren't supposed to see that. You're supposed to see this instead. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? Are you okay? I really think you must be okay because you are here with me now. I suppose you could be lying in bed with your head buried underneath the pillow, trying to escape the world we are living in right now, or you could be here with me and we could be sharing a lovely time together learning the English language. That is the reason why I'm here. We talk about English, I talk about English, you can chat about English on the live chat, and of course don't forget to give me a lovely like as well. This might seem like a very small thing, but it is a very big thing, because when you give me one of these, you are telling YouTube that I am fantastic. And if there's one thing that YouTube likes, it likes people who are fantastic. So the more of these I get, the more fantastic YouTube thinks I am. So give me a lovely like, please, to show you care for me. I am with you during October, of course, at the end of this month, the anniversary, 17 years of being here. I'm celebrating at the end of this month, on the 31st. It will be my anniversary. Oh, fancy pants. That almost deserves one of these. Okay, that's enough of that. Go away. We can't have too much excitement at this stage. So hello to the live chat. Nice to see you here. We have, Vitas. Congratulations, Vitas. You, and also I should say hello to Luis Mendez. You were both first on today's live chat. In fact, I'm just wondering whether anyone else is here on the live stream. Oh, hello. We also have Flower Espoir. Nice to see you here today as well. Wednesday, live stream, English Addict. I am with you every Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. We talk about English. We have some fun. You can listen. You can chat. You can learn. It's ever so good, really, when you think about it. It's quite good, in fact. Hello also to Mustafa. Hello, Mustafa. Hello, Mr. Duncan. I have been following you for 1.5 years, but this is the first time that I can catch you live. I watch your videos when I want to feel relaxed. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I'm always glad to find out. I'm always pleased to hear that my lessons are useful to you, and I am very aware that not everyone likes what I do. Some people think that I should be more formal when I'm doing my lessons or when I'm giving my short lectures. Other people think that this is perfect and you always come back every week to watch me again and again, so that's very nice. Who else is here today? We also have, Beatrice. Hello to Beatrice. I was looking at some photographs this morning. I was going through some photographs and I saw your photographs, some pictures of you and myself and Mr. Steve when we were together in Bristol it must be about 4 months ago now. I can't believe time has really flown by. Oh, hello to Ariel. Hello, Ariel. Thank you very much for your new super chat donation. Thank you very much, Ariel. That's very kind of you. Let's celebrate the 5th super on a live stream. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ariel. That's very kind of you. Very kind. Indeed, in fact. Hello also to... we have Udom. Hello, Udom. Nice to see you here as well. We have... Who else is here today? My technology is being very annoying today because this piece of equipment here has stopped working. So if you are ever thinking of buying one of these, be careful because sometimes they don't work very well. You have been warned. And I suppose I should tell you about what we're doing today. We are looking at keeping up to date. Keeping up to date. It's a very interesting phrase, up to date. It is a phrase that we use when we want to express the action or the activity of being current. So at this very moment, you are aware of what is new, the things that are happening, maybe the changes that are occurring in the world. And let's face it, we do live in a world where things change quite dramatically all the time. I suppose you don't need me to say that over the past 7 days things have changed once again dramatically in the world. And these changes can take place everywhere, including in things like technology. People always talk about the changes, the things that are occurring, the differences between the way we live with technology or the way we lived with it in the past and the way we live with it right now. So there is always some sort of change taking place. And you might say that it's become more difficult these days to keep up to date. So that's what we are talking about today. I want to mention a word that you may have seen very briefly at the start of today's live stream. I will show you it again. And this is the word that popped up earlier by accident. Corruption. Oh, Mr. Duncan, that is a very strong and powerful word. Yes, a word that can be used in many ways when we are talking about something that is done maybe surreptitiously, or with subterfuge, something that is hidden beneath. So we often think of corruption as something that is taking place beneath. And this normally means that favours or gifts are given or received in return for other things. Maybe in politics, corruption can take place when a politician receives money or gifts, so he can then make decisions based on what another person wants. So we often think of corruption as being something that is around us. But there is also, and I think sometimes this is rather unfair, sometimes other countries are accused of being corrupt, whilst other countries are cleared of being corrupt. For example, I remember during my time in China, corruption is a way of life there, or it was when I was there, and it still is. So you might find that certain countries, corruption is not hidden, and that is the main difference between different countries. So in some countries, corruption is done secretly without other people knowing, or maybe they give other words to those gifts. Instead of calling it corruption, perhaps they call it something else. In China, it is not really hidden. It is a way of life. It is part of life. If you want something in China, if you want a favor, if you want to do something in a hurry, you will often have to pay another person a bribe of some sort. So yes, you might talk about corruption as being something that exists everywhere. Even here, by the way, corruption has occurred even in this country, and it's still happening right now at this very moment. The only difference is we are very good at doing it secretly, although now and again corruption does come out into the open, and a lot of people talk about certain types of government corruption. Even in this country, even though a lot of people say, oh, you are so lucky to live in a country where there is no corruption. And I have to say, it exists everywhere here. The only difference between here and China is that we do it very secretly, especially in things like business and politics. When those two things come together, you will often find there is a lot of corruption taking place. So I thought that was an interesting word to mention, and the reason why is because last night I was watching a very interesting documentary about corruption in this country and the way in which certain things, certain areas of business were completely corrupt. However, they did not use the word corruption, they did not use the word bribery. So when you bribe someone, you are giving them something in return for a favour. I give you some money, you give me a favour, something that you now must do for me. But they don't call it that. They don't call it bribery. Way back in the late 50s and late 1960s, here we called it commission. Commission. So that was our code word for corruption or bribery. We called it commission because it sounded much better. So I thought that was an interesting word to start with today. And if there are any people out there who think that corruption doesn't exist in countries like the USA or the UK, it does. It exists everywhere. In fact, you often find the more powerful a person becomes, the more corrupt they often turn. They turn to people who can offer favours in return for money, or of course vice versa. Maybe a person in politics might want a piece of information to disappear, so they might pay another person to make sure that thing is never revealed. It is something that I don't think will ever go away, to be honest. It is fair to say that corruption and being corrupt is something that is probably going to be around forever, as long as people need things, and of course as long as people need to keep things secret. I think it will always exist. Hello to the live chat. Oh, we have Duong. Hello Duong Nguyen Dai. Hello to you. Thank you for joining me from Vietnam. Nice to see you here as well. Mr. Steve and myself, we went somewhere on Monday. Would you like to have a little sneak preview? Well, I'm going to show you a photograph, so I'm not going to show you very much today, but I'm going to give you a little clue as to what we were doing on Monday. So here it is. So there is Mr. Steve, you can see him, and in the distance there are some lovely animals. Currently, our favourite animal, Mr. Steve and myself, we've become quite obsessed with that particular animal in the distance, and that's the reason why we went to the place that we went to on Monday. So I did joke on Sunday that we were flying to Africa. Well, it almost felt as if we were in Africa. So that is coming up on Sunday. We also met some other strange creatures as well. Oh my goodness. So I also came across some dinosaurs as well. So many of the creatures that we saw on Monday were alive, but there were some that have become long since extinct. Other creatures that we saw on Monday include these little fellas. Oh, look, aren't they lovely? So there they are, some penguins. We saw those on Monday as well. I'm not going to give too much away right now, but we will be seeing more of our adventures on Monday. I will be editing a video and we will see what was going on Monday. Next Sunday is when I'm back with you. Hello to who else is here? Oh, yes, I have to say I am very pleased to see Lena Rashidi is here as well. Thank you for joining me today. Also Nam Tien, I hope I pronounced your name right. Lots of people joining me now. I would imagine that some of you were not sure if I was going to be here today, but I am. I'm right here with you now, live on YouTube at 22 minutes past 2 o'clock. Wednesday, the 11th of October, for those wondering. It is. That's what day it is. It is Wednesday, October the 11th, 2023. We are coming towards the end of the year. Just around the corner, you can see that December is already on the horizon. I always think that once October comes, I always think that the year goes by very quickly. So once we reach October, I often think that the year goes by really fast after that point. What about today's subject, Mr. Duncan? I thought you were going to talk about something. Well, we are talking about something today. We're going to have a look at keeping up to date. Keeping up to date with the current news, or maybe changes that occur around us in our everyday life, or perhaps things that change with technology. Something that causes many people a lot of frustration and anger. Hope you enjoyed that. Some lovely sheep, and the reason why I'm showing those to you is because the sheep have returned to the back of the house. We have sheep once again. So not only do we have cattle, we also have sheep at the back of the house as well. It's becoming very crowded in the field behind my house, I have to say. So there are a lot of animals at the moment. It would appear that the theme of this week is definitely animals. And next Sunday, you can find out what we were doing. Mr. Steve and myself, we were somewhere very special with lots of unusual animals surrounding us. You might even say that we became very close to some of the animals. That's all I'm saying for now. I don't want to spoil the surprise. So today we are looking at some words and phrases connected to staying up to date, staying informed. And I'm going to give you a very good example of what I mean. Many years ago, I started using a certain type of technology for editing my videos, and this is what came with it. This is a book. It's an information book, instructions in this book of how to use the software. So you can see there is lots of information, lots of guides in there to give you an idea of how to use this particular software. However, you can see there is a lot of information in there. And then later on, when a new version came out, there was a new book published, and here it is. So again, you can see lots of information in this book telling you how to use the software. So this particular book was updated from the original book because the technology had changed. However, these days you will never see this. You will never see this type of instruction book. And the reason is because everything changes so fast. You could not publish anything these days in a book, because by the time you publish the book, this would all be out of date. So that is the point I'm making today about staying up to date. You can no longer publish instructions for computer software in a book because it would be impossible. By the time this was published, this book would be out of date. So that is the reason why very rarely do you find anything published in a book concerning software or anything connected to computers. You normally have to find it online because then you can update it very easily. So staying up to date, and in my case, because my job concerns working with technology, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work very well at all. When you stay up to date, you might want to keep in touch. So when we say stay up to date, it means you are keeping in touch. You are staying in touch with things that are current, the current events, the current things, the things that are happening now. And that is the reason why we say keep in touch. So we often think of this phrase as meaning one person staying in contact with another. You keep in touch. But of course, being in touch can also mean having a connection with the world around you. You can be in touch with the news. You can be in touch with the changes that occur almost every day now. Keep in touch. And it is, of course, possible to do the opposite. It is possible to lose touch. If you lose touch, it means the things that are current, the things that are new, never reach you. You never hear about the new things. You lose touch. And I think as you get older, and this is something I've noticed, I have, honestly. One thing I've noticed as I get older is that it's much more difficult to stay up to date. It's much more, I suppose it's harder to stay up to date with things as you get older. So you try to keep in touch. You keep yourself updated. So instead of getting your new instructions from a book, instead you might go to the internet. So I think a lot of people these days, when they want to stay up to date, they want to stay in touch with what is happening in the world around them, quite often they will go to the internet. That is my first place that I go to if I need some information, especially if I need it in a hurry. And let's face it, these days, most of us are always in a hurry. We are always in a rush. I think so. You keep yourself updated. You keep in touch with all of the changes. It is important to stay in touch, to stay up to date. We don't want to be left behind. Don't get left behind. Imagine driving on a road and your car is going past all of the other traffic you are overtaking, and the traffic behind you is being left behind. It's very similar to how you can be, or how life can be, for those who can't keep up to date with all of the changes. It's very easy to get left behind. Oh, hello. We have some new viewers. Oh, hello. Hello, Niem. And hello, Yun Bin. Hello to you. I have a feeling you might be in Niem Lee. I think maybe you are in Vietnam. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, please let me know. So don't get left behind. It's very easy. If you don't keep up to date with the changes and the situations that are always altering, you could be left behind. The secret, of course, is to stay current. So there it is. There is the word current. Things that are existing, things that are happening now. Current events, current news, current technology. All of those things relate to how those things are right now, currently. Stay current in the present time. Yes, Palmyra. Hello, Palmyra. Nice to see you here today. Staying in touch. You can use technology. It is very useful for staying in touch and up to date. Yes, I think you're right. I think it is the way that most people now get their news. I suppose you do. I would imagine in the morning when you wake up, you might turn on your computer or your tablet device or your phone, and the first thing you will do is have a look at the news. In fact, the first thing I do in the morning is I always check the weather. It's a little habit that I can't break. So every morning when I wake up, I normally come down here into my studio, I open up my computer, and the first thing I normally do is check the weather. So I don't look at the news in the morning. I normally look at the weather first of all, before I do anything else. To stay current, you stay up to date with what is happening right now. Innovation. Now I like this. This is another one, another interesting word. Innovation. This particular word means something that is new. Maybe a change of method. Maybe a different way of doing something. Maybe a new device that comes along. And maybe that particular thing can do more than the previous version of that device. I'm sure a lot of you will be investing your money into a new phone, perhaps, in the near future. So we often think of innovation as things that are new or improved. One thing is improved or maybe changed. Many years ago, working on the fields would be so difficult. You had to do everything by hand. Everything. Everything had to be done by human beings using our sweat and toil. However, nowadays, because of all of the modern innovations, it is much easier to farm your land, to plant the seed, to maintain the land. So you can say that maybe in farming, for example, there have been many innovations, many things that have come along to change the way we do things. You might also say that transport is something that many people are talking about at the moment. There are many innovations taking place with transport. The way we commute, the way we drive, the types of vehicle that we drive. A lot of people now are being told that they have to drive electric cars. Some people think it's a good idea and some people don't. So it can happen. Hello to Vietnamese girl in tech. Oh, so you are a fan of technology. I see. Hello to Sam. Sam Rainbow is here. Hello, Sam. I haven't seen you here for quite a while. It seems like a long time since I last saw you here on the live chat. Here is another phrase. So this you might say that this is a type of phrasal verb, or maybe a piece of information that is very useful to you. You keep your finger on the pulse. You are keeping your finger on the pulse. It is a great phrase. It means you are monitoring the situation. You are keeping your fingers on the pulse. You are feeling. You are waiting for the changes, for the innovations to come along. So to keep your finger on the pulse means that you are keeping up to date, you are keeping in touch with all of the people who have the information, the useful information. You are keeping in touch with all of the technology. You are keeping your finger on the pulse. We can also say that you are looking out for changes. You keep your finger on the pulse. I like that one. It's a good one. You observe what is new and what is obsolete. Not a very positive word. The word you can see there in blue is not a very positive word. It isn't. So you have to observe the new things, the things that come along, and you have to observe the things that are going away, the things that are no longer needed, or the things that are slowly fading from the consciousness of people. Obsolete, to become obsolete. We often think of machinery or technology as becoming obsolete. For example, maybe the video cassette player is obsolete. Very few people use a video recorder or a video player using cassette tape. Very few people do that. So things that are obsolete are often technology, different types of technology that are no longer used. In computers, we often think of floppy disks. Who uses floppy disks these days? No one does. No one does. So you might say that the floppy disk has become obsolete. Unfortunately, people can also become obsolete, especially when we are talking about their jobs. So maybe when new technology comes along, perhaps their job is no longer there. Maybe the job vanishes because a machine is doing it instead. So a person can become obsolete. It is possible for a person to become obsolete. It means that thing is no longer needed. It is no longer required, whether it is a piece of machinery or a human being. The here and now. So here is a phrase we often use, here and now. When we talk about the here and now, we are talking about the present, everything that's happening at the moment. We are here together right now, live. It is live, yes. It is 19, or should I say 18 minutes away from 3 o'clock here in the UK. So you might say that I am here with you in the here and now, in this present moment. So we are all together right now. So when we talk about the here and now, we are talking about what is present, what is here right now. To stay up to date, there are many ways of staying up to date. To stay up to date, to keep in touch with the world around you, well, you have lots of choices, but the most popular ones are listen. You listen. There are many ways of keeping up to date, listening to what people say, maybe listening to the radio, listening to the television, listening to the report on your phone. Maybe you are listening to a certain news channel, keeping up to date with what is happening in the world. And let's face it, there is always something happening in the world. Always. Mustafa says the word obsolete can be written in Arabic, and this is a challenge for you to understand or know, Mr. Duncan. Yes, I suppose so. It could be. Maybe in the future I will become obsolete. Maybe no one will need an English teacher because computers or artificial intelligence will be able to do it for you. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. I hope not. I hope that I never become obsolete. I really do. So there are many ways of staying up to date. You can listen. You can observe. And I always think sometimes the best way to find out things is not just listen, but also to look and observe. It is interesting how much information you can pick up from another person just by watching their actions or their behaviour. It is interesting. So observing is a very good way of keeping up to date. Maybe you read a book. Maybe you read something on the internet. Maybe you've just bought a new computer or a new phone and you have to learn how to use it. You might have to go onto the internet to find some information. So you listen, you observe, and of course, you learn. Learning is a great way to update yourself on anything when you think about it, on anything at all in the world. So to stay up to date, you can listen, you can observe, and of course, you can learn. Something old is out of date. So this is a phrase we often use in English when we want to describe something that is now obsolete, or maybe something that people don't use anymore, a certain type of thing that you never see, or maybe something that people have stopped using recently. Something is out of date. Something is now old. Very few people use that particular thing. We can also describe language as being out of date. Maybe there are certain things that you could say many years ago, but you can't say now. And of course, I'm sure we are all aware that there are words that were acceptable a long time ago that are not acceptable nowadays. And that's the reason why a lot of people get into trouble, because they might say something, they don't mean to say it, they don't mean it in a bad way, they just use that word. but some other people say you can't use that word anymore. You can't use that word anymore. It's a bad word. It's a naughty word. So that is something that can happen. So even language can be out of date. Certain words or phrases that a person might use could be offensive because they are out of date. That thing is old-fashioned. Something that is no longer current, something that is no longer fashionable. We can say that it is old-fashioned. And this is something we talked about last Sunday. In fact, we did mention that on Sunday, that things that are no longer current or things that are no longer trendy or stylish or liked can be described as old-fashioned. People can be old-fashioned as they get older. So as they become older, they don't change their ways. So it's very easy as you get older to become old-fashioned. However, fortunately, here we have some lovely viewers who are not old-fashioned. They always try to keep up to date with everything that is happening in the world. Oh, the first time I heard the word obsolete is when the former president of the United States said that NATO was an obsolete organisation. And then I checked the word in the dictionary. Yes, we often talk about obsolete when we talk about things that are useless or things that are no longer wanted by people. So yes, it is often used. We often say that something becomes obsolete or it goes into obsolescence. Oh, Mr. Duncan, that's a very interesting word. Very interesting word indeed. Very interesting. Obsolescence. So that means the thing has become obsolete. It slowly becomes useless. It slowly becomes unwanted. It fades away. So what about you? How do you stay up to date with things? What do you use? How do you keep up to date with what is new in the world? I would imagine that most likely you will use the internet. I think it is probably the place that most people go to nowadays when they want to find out what is new in the world. I think so. Hello to Richard. Hello, Richard. Nice to see you here today. Yes, I am doing a Wednesday live stream this week, and we are heading towards a very special time because on the 31st of October, it will be the anniversary of this, my YouTube channel, being created. It was on that day, way back in 2006, when YouTube was just very, very small. It was just a little baby. It was just a little infant. And it's changed a lot over the years. Many people on YouTube who were very popular many years ago have now become obsolete. Why are you looking at me? I wasn't talking about me. Not at all. Definitely not. So how do you keep up to date with things? How do you keep in touch with the world around you? I often use the internet to look at the news. However, I have to be honest, I don't get my news from just one place. I often read the news or watch the news on the television on different channels and from different news outlets. So I don't just use one particular thing to get my news, and there is a very important reason for that. Sometimes the news can be a little biased. So I do like to read the news, listen to the news, watch the news on television, but I also get my news from many, different places, different channels, different sources, and then you can make your own mind up, which I think is the best way of doing it. Palmyra says maybe one day YouTube will be obsolete. Don't say that. Please don't say that. This is all I have. This is all I have in my life. This is all I have. Every morning I wake up and I think, I'm so lucky because I have YouTube. Don't take YouTube away, please. I don't know what I would do. I can think of a couple of things I would do, but that is another story. I am going in a moment. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. So the next time you read the news or listen to the news, or maybe you see an article on the internet, sometimes you might have to try and get the other side of the story. And that can apply to anything when you think about it, anything at all. Thank you very much for your company. I am going. I will be back on Sunday. Steve will be here on Sunday, for those wondering. Yes, Steve will be here, definitely. And I will be here. And we will be showing you some of the adventures that we had on Monday when we went to see the animals, the wild animals. We went on safari on Monday and it was a lot of fun. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you later, 2 p.m. UK time every single Sunday. And please don't forget to give me a lovely like as well. Can you? Can you just click like right now? It's very easy. You just take your finger and you click on that. Click like. Give me a lovely thumbs up. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. See you on Sunday. This is Mr. Duncan saying thanks for watching. See you very soon. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. And of course, until the next time we meet, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now.